Good morning or afternoon, wherever you're from. Okay, so I kind of challenged myself to give you guys a sewing tutorial every day for 30 days. So I thought, well, while I'm sewing, I would just go ahead and show you guys what I'm doing. And if you guys have any requests, just send me a message because I'm going to be doing video tutorials for this whole month. Okay, so today what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this shirt that I am hemming the neck and the bottom, and I'm using this Brother cover stitch machine that needs to be cleaned really bad. I was going to clean it before I started this video, but I forgot. So you're going to need 3 spools of thread. I get these. You can get the solid, just basic colors at Walmart. It seems to be the cheapest place that I found. I get the different colors, like just colors that you can't find from threadart.com, and they're little smaller spools, and so that's what you need. 3 spools of thread. I don't use this one right here, so all of these numbers are going to be on 4, except when you go to release the thread and to end your sewing. This machine, if you try to just pull the fabric out from underneath it, it's really hard and it'll break the thread. So I always turn these 2 dials to 0, and I release this little foot, this little arm right here. So I will show you what that looks like. But this is what we're doing. So I have this shirt, and I'm going to, let me just scoot this over for a minute. I've already sewn the neckband on, so I'm going to show you, I'm going to do a video and show you different ways of doing neckbands, but just for this video, this is what I'm going to show you what I'm doing here. So the neckband is cut, as you can see, on the bias or the 45-degree angle. And I've only sewed one edge to the neckline. So you could also just folded this in half and sewed it down, and then it would have looked like that. But I prefer to do it like this. So we have one side sewed down, and I'm going to fold this under and top stitch it with this cover stitcher. Now the reason that I use this cover stitch machine is because it stretches. So if you get a pencil skirt and the bottom, when you walk, it doesn't start popping, it's because there's some kind of stretch stitch has been used. I just prefer to use this one. You can also use a regular sewing machine if you like. So I'm going to hem the bottom and I'm going to do the neck. So these are all on 4. Now I've got to make sure that this arm, let me see if you can see, this arm, I had released it to pull the threads out. So this is the way it looks when I get done sewing. So I push this back in and I roll these back to 4. Okay, shut the door. I'm going to start with this neckband on one shoulder seam. That's where I started. So I'm going to fold it down like that. You're also going to need a pair of scissors. I use 2 pairs of scissors and a straight pin. You cannot back tack on this machine. That's the reason that you need the straight pin. Okay, so I'm just going to fold this under. What can you see? I'm going to need to scoot it this way. Let's see. I'll try this. I feel like I'm sewing with a child on my lap. I'm following line right here that you probably can't see. I will also put these videos on YouTube. Okay, so I don't know if you can see this. I'm back. Let me turn it down like this. Here's where I started. I don't know if you can see it. Okay, so I'm gonna have to tie the threads off before I finish this. So, before I get too close, I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna turn it over. I'm gonna use my straight pin. And there are, I'll show you this when I get to the end, but there's these two threads that are on the front need to be pulled through on the back. So I'm gonna find the loops, pull it through. Now I've got all three together and I'm gonna tie it in a knot. Cut it off. And then I will finish sewing and I will go past where I just tied off. Okay, now I'm going to make sure my needles are up. I'm going to turn these to 0 and I'm going to release that arm. Then I'm going to lift my foot, grab the threads. If you don't grab the threads and you just start pulling, this will start unraveling. So I'm going to grab the threads, pull it out, leaving enough, whoop, you can't see, leaving enough tail for me to make to tie off here, but also leaving enough for here when we start the next piece. Okay, and then I'm going to close that arm, shut that, put these back on 4, and then I'm going to finish this. Okay. So here you can see, this is where I've stopped. And this one's a little bit trickier, so I'm gonna have to find these two threads and pull them through, just like this. And then tie it in a knot. Cut that tail off. Okay, so now you're left with this excess. So we're gonna trim this off very carefully. I normally hold it up like this so I can kind of see through it and make sure I'm not cutting anything on the back. I always make the neck bands wider than necessary because I don't want it to run off of the edge. I'd rather just trim it off than to not have enough. But if you're good, you could make it smaller and not have to do this step. Okay, and here's what the neck band's gonna look like. When you get done, you press it a little bit, and then you're good to go. Okay, now we're gonna hem the bottom. I'm going to turn down a very narrow hem, and so pretty close to the edge. Hey, you can see, I don't know if you can see, but about how much I'm turning down. Okay, see that? Okay, now I'm going to tie this end off before I finish hemming. Okay, now to end this and take this out from underneath the machine, I'm going to turn those back to 0, release this arm, lift the leg, make sure the needles are up, grasp the threads and pull it out. And then we're going to do the same thing, finding those threads, and then tying them. next thing, and we're done with the shirt. Okay, so here's what your hem looks like. I don't know if you can see that. This is what the back looks like. Okay. All right, I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, just send me a message. I will post this on YouTube, and I will be back tomorrow with another tutorial. If you have any requests, go ahead and send me that, and I will get that on my schedule. Thanks for joining me. Bye.